How do we honor our parents' survival without feeling guilty for wanting more than just getting by? Hey, it's Alex. Welcome back to This is Find a Millennial Diary. If the last episode was about boundaries, this one is about what happens after you set them. It's about the quiet guilt that creeps when you start choosing rest, joy, and healing, and you realize the people who raised you never got that option. Because a lot of our parents didn't dream about thriving. They dreamed about surviving, right? And now we're here, trying to build lives that feel softer, healthier, more intentional, while somehow carrying the weight of everything they endured to get us here. You see, for our parents, survival wasn't a mindset, it was a requirement. Many of them grew up with instability baked into daily life. Financial stress, immigration, racism, war, jobs that broke their bodies and spirits but paid just enough to keep going. Especially in Hispanic households, survival often looked like sacrifice. Working multiple jobs, sending money back home, putting everyone else first. You see, dreams were postponed indefinitely and sometimes forever. So when they talk about success, they're not talking about fulfillment. They're pretty much talking about stability, a steady paycheck, a roof that didn't leak, food on the table. All of that stuff was a win. As kids in the 90s, we watched this up close. We saw parents come home, exhausted, and still show up. We learned early not to ask for too much because we understood, even without words, that money stressed lived in the walls. A lot of Hispanic homes, kids grew up fast. And this is from my experience and seeing everyone else around me. You know, you translated bills, you answered phones, you helped with siblings, you learned responsibility before you learned rest. Perhaps maybe in your household, you had some type of similarities. So when people say millennials are entitled, it's pretty laughable. We were raised by survivors, and survival leaves marks. But here's where it gets a little complicated. When you start saying things like, I want balance, I don't want to be miserable at work, I need rest, I'm going to therapy, it can feel like you're rejecting everything your parents pretty much sacrificed for. You can hear in the comments, we didn't have that luxury. You think life is supposed to be easy, or must be nice. I really hate that one. And suddenly thriving feels like betrayal. But here's the truth most of us are still learning. Wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're building on the foundation they laid, not erasing it. A lot of parents don't understand burnout because they never had the time to name it. They were too busy surviving to process all types of different traumas coming up. Too busy working to ask if they were okay. So when we talk about mental health, it can sound foreign. When we set boundaries, it can sound disrespectful. When we rest, it can look lazy. Not because they don't love us, but because their nervous systems were wired for endurance, not healing. This is why even now, as they get older, they're still finding things that they want to do and move around and be busy. We're not speaking different languages by choice, by the way. We were just shaped by different realities. And still, there's humor in it because there has to be. You tell your parents you're taking a mental health day and they say, so you're sick or what? They don't really understand, right? You say you're burnt out and they respond with, well, that's life. You explain therapy. This is a big one. And they whisper it like it's a crime. Oye, mija, don't tell your tia. But we laugh because if we don't, the grief gets heavy. Humor is how we hold love and frustration all at the same time. Millennials are trying to heal backwards. We're unpacking childhoods while managing adulthood. We're learning emotional language late. We're trying to thrive while still trying to carry the weight of the guilt. Gen Z, watching all this, is opting out sooner. They talk openly about boundaries, they prioritize mental health without apology, They want soft lives, and they don't feel bad about it. And maybe that's the point. We absorbed pain so they wouldn't have to inherit it. Here's the reframe that changed everything for me, though. Thriving isn't an insult to survival, it's the next chapter of it. Our parents survived so we could have choices, so we could breathe, so we could dream beyond just getting by. Because when we heal, we're not rejecting them. We're honoring the cost of what they gave up. We are the proof that their sacrifice mattered. So let's answer the question, how do we honor our parents' survival without feeling guilty for wanting more? Well, by remembering that survival built that bridge, but thriving is what we were meant to do once we crossed it. We can love our parents deeply, we can respect their sacrifices, and we can still choose lives that don't require constant suffering. That's not disrespect, that's evolution. All right, next time, right here on This Is Fine, a Millennial Diary, we'll move into healing your inner child while raising one. Talking about what it means to reparent ourselves while trying to raise kids, care for others if you need to, or simply break cycles we never asked to inherit. Please make sure to subscribe, and you can always find everything, all links for this at alexiscardoza.com. I'll leave you with this. Our parents survived. We're trying to thrive. And this is fine.
Goodbye.